She ran through the rain, clutching her bruised arm, her uniform soaked in blood and tears. Behind her, a man's angry voice echoed through the alley, the husband she was running from. But when she turned the corner and saw the Mafia boss standing there, the same man everyone feared, she dropped to her knees and whispered, "Please, hide me." No one could have imagined what he did next. Maria's hands were shaking so badly she could barely turn the key in the supply closet lock. Blood dripped from her split lip onto her janitor's uniform as she stumbled inside, pulling the door shut behind her. This was it. After 5 years of hell, this was where she'd run to. A tiny closet on the 40th floor, praying the most dangerous man in the city wouldn't find her before sunrise. But what happened next changed everything. If you've ever felt trapped, powerless, or wondered if one person could really make a difference, you need to hear this story. And if it moves you, hit that subscribe button right now, drop a comment below, and smash that like button. Your engagement helps us reach people who desperately need to hear messages like this. Trust me, you'll want to stay until the very end for this one. Now, let me take you back to how Maria ended up hiding in that closet, running from the man who promised to love her, only to find help from the man everyone feared. Maria's hands trembled as she locked herself inside the supply closet on the 40th floor of Romano Tower. Blood dripped from her split lip onto her janitor's uniform, and her left eye was already swelling shut. She could hear her phone buzzing somewhere in the distance, 17 floors below where she'd thrown it into a trash bin. Derek would be calling. He always called after. She pressed her back against the cold metal shelves and slid down to the floor, hugging her knees to her chest. This was it. This was where her life had led her, hiding in a closet at 11:30 at night, praying a man she'd never spoken to wouldn't find her before morning. But footsteps echoed in the corridor outside. Heavy, measured, coming closer. Maria held her breath, pressing her hand over her mouth to silence even the smallest sound. The footsteps stopped directly outside the closet door. A shadow fell across the crack at the bottom. Then the door opened. Vincent Romano stood in the doorway, his $6,000 suit perfectly pressed despite the late hour. His dark eyes traveled from Maria's bruised face to her trembling hands to the blood on her collar. For a long moment, he said nothing. Maria had cleaned this floor every night for 2 years, but she'd never been this close to the man who owned the building, the man they whispered about in break rooms, the man whose business associates wore shoulder holsters under their jackets. "Please," Maria whispered, her voice cracking. "Please don't call security. I just need tonight. Just one night. I'll leave before anyone comes in the morning. I swear, Mr. Romano, I'll disappear. Just please, please don't make me go back out there." Vincent's expression didn't change. He stepped into the closet, and Maria flinched, but he simply closed the door behind him and leaned against it, studying her with an intensity that made her want to vanish into the shelves. "What's your name?" His voice was surprisingly soft. Maria Santos. I clean this floor, every night. I promise I've never stolen anything. I've never broken anything. I just needed somewhere safe, and this was the only place I could think of, and... Maria." He held up one hand, stopping her rambling. "Who did this to you?" The question broke something inside her. Maybe it was the gentleness in his tone. Maybe it was the way he asked who, not what. Maybe it was simply that no one had asked her that question in 5 years. "My husband," she whispered. "Where is he now?" "Home. I ran when he passed out. He'd been drinking and I said something wrong, I don't even remember what, and he just..." She touched her lip, wincing. "I left my keys, my wallet, everything. I only had my work ID to get into the building." Vincent pulled out his phone. Maria's heart lurched. "Please, no, you can't call anyone. He has friends on the police force. They always take his side. They'll just bring me back to him and it'll be worse. It's always worse when..." "I'm not calling the police." Vincent's thumbs moved across the screen. "How long has this been happening?" 5 years, since 6 months after we got married." The words tumbled out now, unstoppable. He wasn't always like this. In the beginning, he was kind, romantic. He swept me off my feet. But then little things started bothering him. The way I laughed, the way I dressed, who I talked to. He said he was protecting me, that the world was dangerous for a woman like me. And you believed him. I didn't know any better. My parents died in a car accident 3 months before I met Derek. I had no family, no close friends. He made me quit my job as a receptionist, said his salary was enough. But then I couldn't buy anything without asking. Couldn't go anywhere without explaining. Couldn't breathe without permission. Vincent's jaw tightened, but he kept typing. When did he first hit you? Year 2. I forgot to pick up his dry cleaning. He slapped me and immediately apologized, crying, saying he'd never do it again. He bought me flowers, took me to dinner. I forgave him. Maria laughed bitterly. I forgave him every time for 3 years, until I realized the apologies were just another form of control. Why didn't you leave? I tried, twice. The first time I made it to a women's shelter. He found me in 2 days, dragged me out screaming, told them I was mentally ill, that I'd stopped taking my medication. They believed him. He's charming when he needs to be. The second time, I went to a hotel 3 towns over. He tracked my credit card. I woke up to him standing over my bed. Vincent looked up from his phone. How did he track you? Apps on my phone, apps on my laptop. He monitors everything. My location, my calls, my searches. I thought about asking for help online, but he'd see it. I thought about running to another state, but I have no money. He controls all the accounts. I get a small household allowance, cash only, and he makes me save the receipts. So tonight you just ran. Tonight he told me he was going to kill me. Maria's voice dropped to barely a whisper. He said if I ever embarrassed him again, if I ever made him look weak in front of his friends, he would put me in the ground and no one would ever find me. And I believed him, Mr. Romano. I've seen that look in his eyes before, but tonight it was different. Tonight, he meant it. Vincent put his phone away and crouched down to her level. Up close, she could see the silver threading through his dark hair, the old scar above his left eyebrow, the weight of something ancient and tired in his eyes. Maria, I'm going to ask you a question, and I need you to think carefully before you answer. Do you want to go back to that life? No. Do you want to be Maria Santos, wife of Derek Santos, ever again? No. Are you willing to trust a man you don't know to help you disappear? Maria stared at him. In the fluorescent light of the supply closet, surrounded by mops and cleaning supplies, being asked the most important question of her life by a man rumored to have connections to organized crime, she felt a strange clarity settle over her. Why would you help me? Vincent stood, extending his hand to her. Because once upon a time, no one helped someone I loved. And I've spent every day since making sure that never happens again to anyone else. Maria took his hand. His grip was firm, steady, warm. He pulled her to her feet. There's a black SUV pulling up to the employee entrance right now. A woman named Sophia will be driving. She's going to take you somewhere safe. You will pack nothing. You will bring nothing from your old life. You will get in that car and you will not look back. Can you do that? What about Derek? He'll look for me. He'll file a missing person report. Derek will be handled. Something in Vincent's tone made Maria shiver, but not from fear. From relief. I don't understand. You don't even know me. Why are you doing this? Vincent walked to the closet door and opened it. Because you asked for help, and because I can. He gestured toward the hallway. The service elevator is to your right. Sophia is waiting. Go now, Maria. Your old life ends in this closet. Maria walked past him on shaking legs, then stopped. Thank you. Thank me by living. Really living, not just surviving. She nodded and ran. The SUV was idling exactly where Vincent said it would be. A woman with steel gray hair and kind eyes leaned across and opened the passenger door. Maria climbed in. Seatbelt, sweetheart, Sophia said, and pulled away from the curb before Maria could second-guess her decision. They drove in silence for 20 minutes. Maria watched the city lights blur past, each mile taking her further from Derek, further from fear, further from the woman she'd been forced to become. When Sophia finally spoke, her accent was thick, Eastern European. You are the 13th woman Mr. Romano has helped. I was the first. Maria turned to stare at her. What? 8 years ago, my husband put me in the hospital. Broke my ribs, my arm, 3 teeth. Mr. Romano was visiting someone in the next room. He heard me tell the nurse I was afraid to go home. That night, I disappeared. My husband never found me. Sophia smiled. Now I help Mr. Romano find other women, and we make sure they disappear too. I don't understand. Why does he do this? Sophia's smile faded. That is his story to tell, not mine. But know this, Maria. You are safe now. Whatever comes next, you are safe. They pulled up to a luxury apartment building in a neighborhood Maria had only ever cleaned, never dreamed of living in. Sophia led her to the 6th floor and unlocked Unit 604. The apartment was beautiful, fully furnished, and absolutely silent. This is yours for as long as you need it, Sophia said, handing her a key. Tomorrow, a lawyer will come with papers for you to sign. Divorce, restraining order, everything documented. A therapist will also come if you want to talk. You don't have to decide now. I can't afford any of this. Mr. Romano has already paid 6 months' rent. After that, we'll discuss your options. For now, rest, heal. Remember what it feels like to be safe. Sophia squeezed her hand. Lock the door behind me, triple bolt. No one knows you're here except Mr. Romano and me. After Sophia left, Maria walked through the apartment in a daze. A bedroom with a queen bed and soft linens, a bathroom with a tub big enough to drown in, a kitchen stocked with food, clothes in the closet, all in her size. How did they know her size? She caught sight of herself in the bathroom mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back. Bruised, bloody, broken, but alive, still alive. Maria ran a bath and sank into water so hot it almost hurt. And for the first time in 5 years, she cried without having to muffle the sound. While Maria slept in silk sheets in an apartment that felt like a dream, Derek Santos woke to pounding on his door at 2:17 in the morning. He stumbled to answer it, still drunk, ready to scream at whoever dared disturb him. 3 men in expensive suits stood in his doorway. The largest one, a man with a shaved head and eyes like chips of ice, held out a manila envelope. Derek Santos? Who the hell are you? Associates of Vincent Romano. These are for you. He thrust the envelope into Derek's hands. Derek ripped it open. Divorce papers, a restraining order, and photographs. So many photographs. Him following Maria to work, him checking her phone while she showered, him grabbing her arm in their kitchen, him raising his fist, all time-stamped, all documented. What is this? What the hell is this? Maria Santos is under protection, the man said calmly. You will not call her. You will not text her. You will not search for her. You will not speak her name. You will sign those papers and you will leave this state within 48 hours. Are we clear? You can't make me do anything. I'll call the police. I'll tell them you threatened me. The man stepped closer. Derek stumbled backward. We know about your gambling debts, Derek. $47,000 to some very impatient people. We know about the money you stole from your company. We know about the DUI you paid to have erased. We know everything. He smiled, and it was the most terrifying smile Derek had ever seen. Sign the papers. Leave the state, or we stop being polite. Derek's hands shook as he looked at the photographs again. Where is she? Gone. And if you're smart, you'll let her stay gone. The 3 men left. Derek stood in his doorway, papers scattered at his feet, and for the first time in his adult life, he felt genuinely afraid. He packed a bag before sunrise. 1 week later, Maria sat in Vincent's office on the top floor of Romano Tower. The bruises on her face had faded to yellow and green. She wore clothes Sophia had bought her, simple but nice. She felt like an imposter. How are you settling in? Vincent asked, pouring 2 cups of coffee. I don't know what to say except thank you. I've said it 100 times and it still doesn't feel like enough. You don't owe me anything, Maria. That's not true. I owe you everything. My life, my freedom, my future. She accepted the coffee with trembling hands. I've been looking at job listings, cleaning positions mostly. That's what I know. Vincent sat across from her. I have a different proposition. Mr. Romano, you've already done too much. I need an executive assistant, someone organized, trustworthy, and observant. Someone who notices details others miss. Someone who shows up every day, no matter what's happening in their life. He leaned forward. I need someone like you. Maria laughed, but it came out more like a sob. I'm a janitor. I never finished college. I can barely use Excel. You need someone qualified, I need someone who survived 5 years of hell and still showed up to work every single night with a smile on her face, even when smiling hurt. That takes more strength than any degree could teach. Vincent slid a folder across the desk. $85,000 a year, full benefits, flexible hours while you adjust. I'll train you in everything you need to know. Maria opened the folder with shaking hands. A contract. A real contract for a real job with a salary that made her dizzy. Why are you doing this? Because you deserve a chance to build a life that's yours. Not Derek's. Not anyone else's. Yours. I don't know what to say. Say yes or say no. Either way, the apartment is yours for 6 months. But I think you'd be good at this, Maria. I think you'd be great at it. Maria looked at the contract, then at Vincent, then back at the contract. A life that's yours. When was the last time anything had been hers? Yes, she whispered. Yes, I'll do it. Vincent smiled, and it transformed his face completely. Good. You start Monday. Now there's one more thing we need to discuss. He stood and walked to a bookshelf, pressing something that made it swing open like a door. Behind it was a smaller office, filled with filing cabinets and a large map on the wall. Red pins dotted locations all over the city. What is this? Maria asked, following him inside. Each red pin represents a woman I've helped over the past 8 years. 13 women. 13 new lives. Some wanted to move away, start fresh somewhere else. Some stayed in the city but with new identities. All of them are safe. All of them are free. Maria stared at the map. 13 lives. 13 women like her. I still don't understand why you do this. Vincent walked to a photo on the wall. A woman with dark hair and kind eyes laughing at the camera. She looked like Vincent. My mother, Elena Romano. This was taken 2 weeks before my father killed her. Maria's breath caught. I was 10 years old, Vincent continued, his voice steady but distant. My father was a violent man, controlling. He decided what she wore, what she ate, who she spoke to. Sound familiar? Maria nodded, unable to speak. She tried to leave him when I was 10. A women's shelter helped her, gave her a new apartment, helped her file for divorce. She was so happy, Maria. For 2 weeks, I saw my mother smile like she meant it. Then my father found her. He broke into her apartment and beat her to death while I hid in the closet, just like you hid in that supply closet last week. Vincent, Maria whispered. I was powerless then. A child. I couldn't protect her. I couldn't save her. The police called it a domestic dispute gone wrong. My father served 6 years and died in prison. I went to live with my uncle, who taught me the family business. Real estate, mostly, but some less legal ventures, too. I built an empire specifically so I'd never be powerless again. So that when women like my mother, women like you, needed help, I'd have the resources to make them disappear. He turned to face her. The lawyers, the safe houses, the jobs, the new identities, all of it is funded through my businesses. Some of those businesses exist in legal gray areas. I won't lie to you about that. But everything I do, every choice I make, is so that no woman ever has to die like my mother did, because no one with power chose to help. Maria felt tears sliding down her cheeks. I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry, be free. That's what she would have wanted. Vincent walked back to his desk and pulled out another folder. I want to expand this, Maria. Make it official. A foundation. Lawyers, therapists, job placement, housing, everything a woman needs to escape and rebuild. But I need help running it. someone who understands what these women are going through because they've lived it. He held out the folder to her. I want you to help me build this. Be my partner in it. Not just my assistant, my partner. You know what these women need because you've needed it. You know what they're afraid of because you've been afraid. Help me build something that could have saved my mother. Something that did save you. Maria took the folder. Inside were plans for the Romano Foundation for Survivors, detailed budgets, locations for safe houses, lists of lawyers and therapists willing to work with abuse victims, a comprehensive plan to help hundreds of women escape the lives destroying them. You want me to run this? I want us to run it together. I have the resources and the connections. You have the understanding and the empathy. Together, we can save lives. Maria thought about the woman she'd been a week ago, broken, hopeless, convinced she'd die in that house with Derek. Then she thought about the woman she could become, the woman who could reach back and pull others out of that darkness. Yes, she said firmly, let's do it. 3 months later, Maria stood in front of a room full of women at the newly opened Romano Foundation Community Center. Some had fresh bruises, some had old scars. All had that same look in their eyes she recognized from her own mirror, the look of someone who'd forgotten what safety felt like. My name is Maria, she began, and 3 months ago, I was hiding in a supply closet, praying I'd survive the night. Today, I'm standing here to tell you that survival isn't enough. You deserve more than survival. You deserve a life, a real life, and we're here to help you build it. She told them her story, every painful detail, the isolation, the control, the violence, the fear, and finally, the escape. She saw recognition in their faces, the slight nods, the tears, the way some of them unconsciously touched old bruises or scars. I won't lie to you, Maria continued. Leaving is terrifying. Starting over is hard. Some days you'll want to go back because the unknown feels worse than the familiar, even when the familiar is killing you. But I promise you, it gets better. It gets so much better. And you're not alone anymore. We're going to walk through this with you, every step. After the meeting, women lined up to speak with her privately. Maria listened to each story, saw her own past reflected back in a dozen different faces, and felt a purpose settle into her bones. This was what Vincent meant by really living. This was what freedom felt like. Vincent watched from the back of the room, and when Maria caught his eye, she mouthed, "Thank you." He nodded, a small smile on his face, then slipped out quietly. 6 months after that night in the supply closet, Maria returned to Romano Tower. Not to clean, but to visit. She took the elevator to the 40th floor and found the supply closet where her old life had ended and her new one began. She opened the door and looked at the space that had once felt like a tomb and now felt like a doorway. Her old janitor's cart still sat in the corner, retired, but not discarded. Saying goodbye? Sophia appeared beside her, 2 cups of coffee in hand. Something like it. Maria accepted the coffee. Did you ever come back to where Vincent found you? The hospital? Once. Stood outside for an hour, thinking about the woman I was before I walked through those doors. She was so scared, so small. Do you miss her? No, but I honor her. She survived long enough for me to become who I am now. Sophia squeezed Maria's shoulder. Come, the new group starts in an hour, and 2 women arrived early. They need you. Maria took one last look at the supply closet, then closed the door. Not to forget, but to remember. To remember where she'd been so she never forgot what these women were fighting for. As she walked toward the elevator, she pulled out her phone and opened the Foundation's Instagram page. 23,000 followers, hundreds of messages from women asking for help, dozens of success stories from women who'd rebuilt their lives. In 6 months, they'd helped 42 women escape abuse, 42 new lives, 42 red pins on Vincent's map. Maria posted a photo of the supply closet door with a caption. Sometimes salvation comes from the strangest places. Sometimes the most dangerous man is the one protecting the powerless. 6 months ago, I hid behind this door, certain I would die. Today, I walked away from it knowing I truly lived. If you're reading this and you're afraid, know that help exists. You just have to ask, and someone will answer. I promise. Within an hour, the post had 3,000 likes and 72 direct messages from women asking how to get help. Maria answered every single one. That evening, she met Vincent for dinner at a quiet restaurant he owned. He ordered wine. She ordered water. They'd fallen into an easy friendship over the months, built on mutual respect and shared purpose. 42 women, Vincent said, raising his glass. My mother would be proud. Your mother would be proud of you, Maria corrected. You've built something extraordinary. We've built something extraordinary. He smiled. I heard you're speaking at a conference next month. Domestic violence prevention. Terrifying, but important. You'll be brilliant. Vincent set down his glass. Maria, I need to tell you something. The foundation is growing faster than I anticipated. We need a full-time director, someone to manage the staff, oversee the programs, handle the budget. I'd like that person to be you. Vincent, I'm still learning. I've only been your assistant for 6 months. And in those 6 months, you've transformed this foundation from an idea to a movement. You've connected with more women, secured more funding, and built more programs than I ever could have alone. This is your calling, Maria. I see it. The women see it. You're the only one who doesn't. Maria felt overwhelmed. What would you do? Continue funding it. Remain on the board. But step back from daily operations. This needs to be led by someone who's lived it. By someone the women trust implicitly. By you. I don't know if I'm ready. No one ever feels ready for the thing they're meant to do. But you are. Trust me. Maria thought about the woman who'd hidden in that closet 6 months ago. That woman would have said no. That woman would have believed she wasn't good enough, wasn't strong enough, wasn't worthy enough. But Maria wasn't that woman anymore. Okay, she said. I'll do it. Vincent's smile lit up his whole face. Excellent. We'll make the announcement next week. As they finished dinner, Maria's phone buzzed with another message. A woman named Jennifer, hiding in her car with her 2 children, terrified to go home. Maria typed back immediately, giving her the foundation's emergency number and the address of their nearest safe house. 43, she said to Vincent. 43, he agreed. 1 year after that night in the supply closet, the Romano Foundation held its first annual gala. 200 people filled the ballroom, politicians, philanthropists, celebrities, all there to support the foundation that had helped 137 women escape domestic violence. Maria wore a green dress that Sophia had insisted made her look powerful. Her hair was styled, her makeup perfect, her confidence genuine. She was unrecognizable from the broken woman who'd begged a stranger for help. She took the stage to thunderous applause. 1 year ago, she began, I was a janitor hiding in a supply closet, certain I would die. Tonight, I stand before you as the director of a foundation that has helped 137 women discover that survival isn't enough, that they deserve not just to exist, but to truly live. She told a condensed version of her story, the abuse, the escape, the transformation. Then she gestured to Vincent, sitting at the head table. This man could have called security that night, could have sent me back into danger. Instead, he extended a hand and pulled me out of the darkness. But he didn't do it because I was special. He did it because he understands that every woman deserves a champion. Every woman deserves a second chance. And every woman deserves to feel safe. She looked out at the crowd. If you're here tonight, you believe that too. Your donations fund safe houses. Your support pays for lawyers and therapists. Your compassion gives women hope. On behalf of every woman we've helped, thank you. Thank you for believing we're worth saving. The crowd rose in a standing ovation. Maria saw tears on faces throughout the room. But what she noticed most was Vincent, standing and clapping with genuine pride in his eyes. After the gala, after the donors left and the staff cleaned up, Maria found Vincent on the balcony overlooking the city. Your mother would be incredibly proud, she said softly. I hope so. He looked at her. You've exceeded every hope I had for this foundation, Maria. You've turned my mother's tragedy into something beautiful. We did that together. No, you did that I just opened the door. You walked through it and built a home for others to find refuge. They stood in comfortable silence, watching the city lights twinkle like stars. Vincent, can I ask you something? Always. Why me? That night you'd helped 12 other women. What made you help me? Vincent was quiet for a long moment. You reminded me of her, my mother. The way you were trying to make yourself smaller, invisible, like if you just took up less space, maybe the pain would stop. I saw that in my mother for years, and when I found you in that closet, I saw a chance to do what no one did for her, to say yes when someone asked for help. Maria felt tears prick her eyes. I'm going to spend the rest of my life honoring that yes. I promise you. I know you will. You already are. Maria pulled out her phone and checked the foundation's messages. 3 new requests for help since the gala started. She began typing responses, connecting each woman to resources. You should enjoy the evening, Vincent said gently. This is me enjoying it, knowing that 3 more women will sleep safely tonight because we exist. That's better than any party. Vincent laughed. You're going to change the world, Maria Santos. We're going to change the world, she corrected. Together. As Maria answered messages late into the night, connecting frightened women to safety, she thought about the journey from that supply closet to this moment. The fear, the healing, the purpose. She thought about Derek, who she'd learned through lawyers had moved to another state and remarried. She hoped his new wife was safe. She hoped he'd changed. But if he hadn't, she'd be there. Because Maria Santos knew what it felt like to be powerless. And now she knew what it felt like to have power. The power to extend a hand to someone in darkness. The power to say yes when someone asked for help. The power to transform tragedy into hope. She looked up at the stars and whispered, Thank you, Elena. Your son saved my life, and now we're saving others in your name. The city lights flickered below, and somewhere in that vast darkness, a woman was making the decision to survive, to ask for help, to take that first terrifying step toward freedom. And when she did, Maria would be there to answer, just like Vincent had answered her, just like someone should have answered Elena. The cycle of violence ended where the cycle of compassion began, in a supply closet, with a question, with a yes. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please reach out. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. You are not alone. Help exists. You just have to ask. And before you go, if this story moved you, please hit that subscribe button. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment telling us your thoughts. Your engagement helps us reach more people who need these messages of hope. Together, we can make sure no one suffers in silence. Together, we can be the answer someone is praying for. Thank you for watching. And remember, you deserve more than survival. You deserve a life. A real life. And it's never too late to start living it.